Hi, how are you? I hope you are fine. Today I will tell you something about interpretation of music, speaking concerning this piece, page 76 of the method by Franz Joseph, I think Gisbert, for alto recorder, alto method for treble recorder, alto Blockflöte Schüler, is the method with them I have studied when I was young, 16 years. And this piece is arrived from an anthology, a publication in 740 in Paris, Jean-Daniel Braun, piece for solo flute. It's written for flute, so that we now call baroque flutes, but could be easily played for with recorder, a third minor up or a fourth up. In this case, the transcription of Gisbert is a fourth up. So the first original note are E, D sharp, E. It is transcribed A, G sharp, A. But it's not this the matter of my speech. The matter of my speech is the interpretation. The piece is not easy, but it's well written, so we can learn a lot about interpretation. In my experience, there is 4 ways for learn or choose an interpretation. The first, not in order of importance, but sometimes in order of your personal history. The first is that you have a teacher that told you what you have to do. This note staccato, this legato, this a little, we have to breath in this moment, and you have to put a trill here and here. And this is something that many of my pupils follow. The second is that you listen someone, some better if good player, and you recognize some decision, some legato, tied note, staccato, pronunciation turu turu, duru duru, and you absorb and or you transcribe this the decision of this performer, and you learn. The third is that you make a musical analysis, harmony, counterpoint, structure of the piece, and you decide your interpretation following these, what you have discovered of the structure of the piece. You try with your interpretation to explain this structure. And the number 4 is that you make circa the same things of the number 3, but not in a rational way, just because you feel something. And you make what you transform your feeling and your intuition, your idea, in interpretation. I think that I follow 4 together, but especially the number 2 and the number 4. I listen a lot of musicians. YouTube in this way is very useful. Not only recorder player or baroque flute player, but also organ, harpsichord, violin, singer. And I think that I learn a lot. And concerning the way number 4, I have listened and I have performed so many music in these years that I have a great experience and a great background, and then I can follow my feeling, my intuition, my idea, and normally they are good. But today we will speak about the number 3. We try to make an analysis to see how and why there is some this note and not this and this, and how this could make an influence in our interpretation. Because if you play knowing what it happens, understanding the sense of one of the sense, because there are many senses at the same time, of your music, your interpretation will be better. For example, the beginning of this piece, we have A, G sharp, A, E. Then we have C, B, C, A. Then we have E, D, E, B. So there is something that is repeating like a pattern. 3 notes that are very near each other, like mordente. We have 3 mordent. Four mordents. And a note after with a certain distance. And this is something that we can recognize, and we can try to make a way for explain this. For example, putting some emphasis on 2 things. The fact that the 3 notes are near each other, and that could be, for example, that we can make these 3 notes tied. And the second, give some importance, so some not longer, but not surely not short, the note number 4. Okay. Another things that we can observe is that this segment of 4 notes is without head. So the principal accent is le. Boom, ti ri ri ri, da 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 dum. The accent is on the end. Da 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 dum, da 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 dum, da 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 dum. Is different if, for example, the piece starts with A. It will be different, the interpretation. This is da 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 dum. Okay. And this could be a suggestion from the first 16 note. And what happened after? We have note of certain distance of a third. There are part of a chord of, we can say, of 9th. I don't know the English name, but there is the 7th and the 9th. And we see this chord not only but da 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 da. What we can do, we can make this note not tied and not in a melodical way. This is a melodical way, but I think I will play them not staccato but with some small separation, because it's a chord, it's harmony, it's not melody. Okay, and A. No, C-A, I'm sorry, C-A. What is C-A? C-A is a typical way of Finnish music in Baroque period. Tada! The first note is the end, and the second note is how we finish the first. First note with the second. Tada! It's like a word of two syllables in which there is the accent on the first. Singer, player. This at the end is just a way of finish. So, it is possible the opposite solution, but I think it's not a good idea to give the accent in a note in a position that is not strong. C is a strong position, A is not strong. Work, I think. Good. Now, this is very interesting. We have harmony. Harmony, a chord, A minor. The change in A major, but not only. A major 7th. A major 7th is the chord of it's a chord used a lot in pop music and jazz, but this is not the question because John Daniel Braun doesn't know pop music, but it's something very interesting, very new, very surprising. So we have to play knowing that something is happened. The transformation are very slow in music. So, for example, in concert by Vivaldi, you have a lot of this note repeated, and after a small change. Minor, major, major 7th. Here we have all together in very small space. And after the structure need these two notes. F, D. But what make the composer? Instead of making F, D, make G, F, E, F, D. So, appoggiatura, retard, it's a very complicated way of making. But we have to know that the G in bar 3 is instead of F. The music need F and ends with F, but the composer make G, F, E, F, D. All together. And now the same, exactly the same structure. Before was in D minor, and now in G major. D minor became D major 7th, dominant of G major. the same in C major, but without the first chord minor. So it's not. And the chord follow another order. This is what we was writing, but right. It's a little difference, but it's the same structure. And now again, a repetition, but not before minor, after major, 2-time major, and without seventh. This was with B flat, a logical consequence, but now the composer tried to go in another direction. And now we have 5 notes that are really melodically. Not harmonically, so we don't play in the same way. We don't play the chord legato, and we don't play the melody staccato, but the opposite. Okay, we are arrived on A. Now we have a chord repeated, but the end, instead of making A, make it a D. And now we have exactly the same bar as before, but 1 tone higher. And now the same structure, a step higher. So we have a repetition, 3 times the same, going up. And when something is repeated going up, probably we have to underline to make this more. It's like when you repeat a word 3 times. I like the mountains, I like the mountains, I like the mountains. So the 3rd time is really categoric. I will play these 3 bars starting with C. Okay, and now the music changed because the composer asked to arrive at a conclusion, a cadenza, a end of this part. So instead to have and to continue to growing up, it's make note and chord that are typical of a cadence. We are in A minor, 1st degree A C E, 5th degree E G sharp B. This is a typical 2 chords of the cadenza. And then in the 5th line, C E B E. What is this? We have 2 voices. The upper voice is C B C, and the lower E E E. This is typical of the Baroque music, a pedal, E repeated E, and over melody, top melody. Of course, this is evident, but probably if you know it, you will play this note with this intention. This C, B, C has to be melodic. And now we have 2 C. Probably it's the first time that we have repeated 2 notes. What is When you have repeated two notes, be careful, because it could be just a repetition, 1 1 5 5 4 4 3 3, but this is not the case, because it's not, it is. And what is this? The first note is the end of the sentence before, and the second C is the beginning of the sentence after. So probably the best solution is a great separation between these two C. We give importance more on the second sentence than on the first, so we stress the second C. The first will be very short. Okay, now again this kind of polyphony, melody on the top note and pedal on the lower, and up, all together, with echo. Now, four note that is a chord, again pedal, B, E, B, D, and then a scale of from E to E. In we are in A minor, this is the scale of the dominant. This last note is an E. An E could be part of the chord ACE, the first degree in A minor, or E G sharp B, the fifth degree, as this is E C sharp B. This is the tonality that are down of this note. Now the beginning, it's similar, the beginning of the second part, it's similar at the beginning of the first part. The first part was and this. With, we still spoke about CA. Only to tell you that the note of the mordente, the first note of the mordente, and the note number 4 of this pattern, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, the note number 1 and the note number 4 of this pattern are note of the chord E G sharp B. It's important that you know, so it's not changing the harmony. And finish with. Okay, now two voices, a pedal of A and a melody. The melody is C, B, C, D, E, F, A, F, oof, E, F. Good. It's incredible English. It's written A and you have to pronounce E. It's written A and you have to pronounce A. It's not normal people. The structure is evident, there is no problem, but we have to help the structure, stressing a little the melody. But attention, what happened? In the second half of this bar, F, A, D, A, F, A, D, G, we can think that the pedal is still continuing because the A are in the same position. But before, the pedal was alternating with a melody. But now there is not alternating in a melody because is not a melody. These three notes, F, A, D, is a chord of D minor, written in a very interesting way. This is the way that use Bach in its prelude. It's the best way for writing a chord for a wind instrument. And then we have exactly the same structure repeated a step lower. But attention, the last note of the bar is not related of what is before, is related of what happened after. Again. And now a cadenza. Cadenza and two voice. We can follow probably three voice. We can follow the higher melody. The middle part. And the lower. All together. Of course, you cannot make all the people will not recognize three voices. There is another way of analyzing this piece. If you consider the couple CE, after you can think CD, and after CB. Or in effect, there is the analysis could be without hand for this note. It's complicated for the finger. It's complicated for the structure. It's like many people speaking in the same time. Now, the most difficult part for the finger. What happened? We have a pedal on the higher note. And a melody in note going down. This is a melody in the lower note, and in the higher, the original idea was a pedal, for example from E. It works if you remain on E, but the composer, with elegant solution, in the second beat, instead of remain with E, make an F. I'm playing the higher note, starting from this bar that starts with C, E, B, E. The higher notes are altogether it's so difficult for the finger that it's difficult to put interpretation, because it's a miracle if you play it correctly. At the end it changed pattern, and because it's going in direction of cadenza, and the cadenza is not something different, but we recognize very well the melody C, A, D, B, E, E, A, lower note, higher note, A, C, B, A, G sharp, A. And both together, you have to help the lower note, because the higher note doesn't need help. After we have something that we haven't met in the first part, exactly. And now, this F, interesting, the relationship between F natural and G sharp. Because F is an half tone distance from E, and G sharp is an half tone distance from A. So the top and the lower note has half tone of distance of the note after or before. And then cadenza. And now the same part an octave higher, lower. But without G sharp, probably for two reasons, because this flute and the period has not, no, the baroque flute has G sharp, I don't know, probably because it cannot make G, E, because the E is not in the instrument, so it's go an octave higher. It's not a perfect solution. But this is the solution that found John Daniel Braun. I hope it has been useful. As you can see, the structure, harmonical or melodical, and the repetition, and the cadenza, and the polyphony make strong influence of our interpretation. Bye bye.